So look at what I've got here. Yes, I'm back on holiday, obviously. Got back yesterday, late afternoon. I got the Cobra 2000 boards. And I've already stuffed one. Well, minimally stuffed. Got the synthesizer, got the micro, obviously, got the power supply. But that's it. No other radio interface logic except for the display. I have to wire the display up. But I figured at this point, I wanted to just fire it up and make sure it doesn't smoke. So the power supply on this is actually this little black cube right here. It's a switching regulator. They're just, I mean, these things cost like $2.50. You know, US dollars. It's just easier to get one of these than roll your own switching supply. So this will deliver 500 milliamps at 3.3 volts with a input voltage of, I believe, anywhere from 5 to 30 volts. So this cap will pop before this thing does. Now that said, let's just go for it and attach some stuff here. I'm gonna give it 12 volts. Maybe I should name it in my face, right? We're gonna see what happens. 20 milliamps. Good to go. So let's see if we see any nice stuff on the bus. Stay on. Stay on. Mini grabbers are trying to come off. See what we see on the data bus. Should be SPI down here, or I squared C rather. Nothing and nothing. Actually, that's not unreasonable. I'd have to go look at the code, but I'm thinking there's no activity on the bus because there's no display. Yeah, and my display is still looking like this. It's still a prototype, and I've got to lop these pin headers off and actually crimp up a KK connector to plug into this. So yeah, I've got to do that. Yes, this is a total prototype. See, I've cut up perf board and, you know, whatever works. You know, it's a prototype. So I've got to hack this up and you know, get it going. So the only thing that I will not be able to verify operation on with this is whether or not it turns on and off with the radio, because I oopsed and I didn't order two parts. One part I didn't order is the USB connector that I used for this. Although I pre-flashed this microcontroller, I've got a you know, a socket for these quad flat packs. You know, it's one of the ones that I have to show it one day. You just sort of flip it open, drop the chip in it, close it, and you know, you can you know, flash your MCUs. This guy plugs into it. It's actually a creation of mine. I make a lot of my own tools a lot of times, and I seldom show them, and I probably should. But what I do is I plug this JTAG header into it. I give it 5 volts, and it's got its own onboard, you know, 3.3 volt regulator. I didn't include a 5 volt regulator, probably should, but I just give it 5 volts, and it'll go down to 3.3 volts if it's required. This is just a dumper that I can position to select the voltage, and plug this guy in, plug the computer, flash the microcontroller, so I don't have to solder it to a board, and then and then you know, so that I can get a JTAG header, or not only a JTAG but or SPI or ISP, ICSP rather. So you know, I just configure it with jumpers. It's quite literally a circuit board with a ZIF socket on it. So you know, I can standalone flash, certain chips. And it was originally intended to plug into one of the other dev boards that I had, but it's since been modified. Anyway, so there's the board. I ordered 5 and they sent me like 15. I ain't kidding you. I got a whole army of these damn things, and it already needs 1 bodge and 1 physical mod. So anyways, people, the question that probably people are asking, well, does it fit in the cage? There you go. It's made to go in there. So, yep, right in. Now the physical mod, which is, I'm quite annoyed about it, because for some reason I didn't catch it, and I don't know why. And I even went and looked at my piece of paper, because it was still in, believe it or not, it was still in one of the like 4 rubbish bins that I've got in here, and this mounting hole doesn't quite line up, and yeah, it's just like, oh, how could I screw that up? But I did. So 3 will fit. This one requires a little drill out. Another thing I've noticed, though, although they sent me all these boards, I think I know why they sent me all of these. Okay, because they figured, what the hell? On some of them, the solder mask is not quite right. See if I find one with a solder mask. In fact, this top one, it's not quite right. It seems to be shifted a little bit to one side, and then if I go and look at one of these, it's perfectly fine. And you can tell when you start looking at these really fine SSOP footprints, where you see that there's no, the chip outline is missing part of it because it's in the pads. So, you know, it's one of those things. And I think they just sent me the bad ones because they were tolerable, but, you know, I mean, maybe that's why I got so many of them. I ordered 5. I didn't want 15. So, but they're totally usable. And it's heavy. I mean, these are big boards. So yeah, I got them. That said, I'm gonna wire up the display. I didn't get there's a few things I'm missing. I thought I had 4 KK series 4 position plugs for here for the encoders. I don't. It's just an oops. I screwed that up. I have plenty of 5s and 6s and so on and so forth going on up, but I don't ran out of 4s. So I gotta get those. I've already, you know, got at least a bunch of stuff for DigiKey on the way, so I've got to get more stuff on the way. And I also, I'm missing a Zener diode, which, just again, an oversight. It's just sort of an oops. Now, how did I forget to order it? And these USB connectors. I got a certain kind, and I didn't order them before I got the boards, and oopsie. I don't have any of these, so yeah, one of those things. So I got all these boards, and if there's no nasties, and they only require a small hardware mod and a bodge if you want to use the wireless, then they can probably go into some radios for testing. So that's where I'm at. I'm gonna keep mucking around with this and see where it takes me. So I'm gonna get moving on the display, and we'll see what happens. So catch you guys later.